The door slammed behind us like a gunshot in the dead of night, and before I could catch my breath from the bar's chaos, Lucas's hand clamped around my wrist, rough, unyielding, the kind of grip that said he wasn't asking. "Elijah," he growled, his voice cracking like thunder over the Hudson, eyes wild with something I couldn't name. "Don't make me say it." Rain-soaked shirts clung to our skin as he yanked me toward his bed, the room spinning in a haze of cheap whiskey and unspoken sins, and in that heartbeat I knew. Everything we'd buried was clawing its way out. I never planned on falling for my roommate. Hell, I didn't even plan on rooming with Lucas freaking Hargrove, the golden boy of our cramped Brooklyn walk-up, the guy whose life was a highlight reel of pickup basketball games, craft IPAs with the boys, and zero tolerance for anything that smelled like complication. We met through a Craigslist ad 6 months ago. Me, Elijah Voss, 24, fresh out of a community college graphic design program, scraping by on freelance gigs that paid in exposure and ramen. Him, 25, a barista by day and aspiring screenwriter by night, with shoulders broad enough to block out the sun and a smile that could disarm a SWAT team. The ad read, "Straight dude seeks chill roomie for Astoria spot. No drama, no pets, no weirdos." I figured I qualified on all counts. Gay? Sure, but I kept that lockdown tighter than Fort Knox. In New York, survival meant blending in, not standing out. Our first week was a sitcom setup. Him blasting Springsteen while flipping pancakes at dawn. Me nursing hangovers from village dive bars, sketching logos on napkins until my fingers cramped. We'd bump elbows in the kitchenette, trading barbs about his endless dating app swipes. Another Tinder ghost? Bro, upgrade your bio. And my perpetual singledom. "Dude, you're too picky. Hit up Grindr or whatever you gays do." He'd laugh it off, clapping my shoulder like we were blood brothers. But there was always this undercurrent, a spark when our eyes locked too long over morning coffee. I tell myself it was nothing. Lucas was straight as an arrow. Dated a parade of artsy brunettes who left lipstick stains on our couch cushions. I was just the safe sidekick, the one who listened to his rants about script rejections and nodded along to his dreams of hitting it big in Hollywood East. But New York has a way of eroding walls. It started small. Late-night talks on the fire escape, chain-smoking Camels as the skyline glittered like a promise we couldn't keep. He'd spill about his ex, Tara, the one who'd called him emotionally unavailable, before ghosting for a sound engineer in Bushwick. I freeze up, you know? Like, what if it's all bullshit? I'd lean against the railing, the autumn chill biting through my hoodie, and murmur, "It's not bullshit if it's real." Our knees would brush, accidental at first, then lingering. He'd pull away, crack a joke about the Mets' latest choke, but I'd catch him watching me later, when he thought I was asleep on the couch during movie nights. His favorites, those gritty Scorsese flicks where the antiheroes always chose the wrong path. By November, the air in our apartment thickened, heavy with the scent of his cologne. Something woodsy and expensive, stolen from a sample at work, and the unspoken. I started noticing the details. The way his t-shirt rode up when he stretched after a run, revealing a trail of dark hair dipping toward his waistband. How he'd linger in the bathroom doorway, towel slung low, droplets tracing paths down his chest like invitations I couldn't accept. My sketches shifted too, from abstract cityscapes to shadowed figures, intertwined, faces blurred but bodies urgent. I'd hide them under my mattress, heart hammering, praying he wouldn't snoop. The hook that snagged us both came on a Friday, the kind of raw November night where the wind howls off the East River like a banshee. We'd hit McSorley's for beers after my latest freelance flop, a logo for some hipster kombucha brand that got scrapped for being too millennial. Lucas was my wingman that night, all easy charm and pool shark swagger, fending off my awkward flirtations with barflies who mistook my politeness for interest. "Lighten up, Eli," he'd say, slinging an arm around my shoulders, his breath warm against my ear, whiskey-laced and dizzying. "You're in the city of sin. Sin a little." By last call, we were buzzed, stumbling arm in arm down Houston, laughing about nothing, the world a blur of neon and possibility. That's when it happened. The slam of the door, his grip like iron. I stumbled, half laughing, half protesting, but he didn't let go. His room was a mess of dog-eared scripts and empty growlers, the bed unmade like an afterthought. "Lucas, what the—" My words died as he pushed me back onto the mattress, the springs groaning under our weight. His face hovered inches from mine, eyes stormy, lips parted like he was unraveling a secret he'd guarded for years. Rain pattered against the window, a frantic rhythm matching my pulse. "I can't stop thinking about it," he whispered, voice raw, fingers threading into my hair. "About you." "Fuck. Elijah. Tell me to stop." I couldn't. My hands found his waist, pulling him down, and the world narrowed to the press of his body against mine. Solid, feverish, real. His mouth crashed into mine, tasting of hops and desperation, stubble scraping like sandpaper on silk. It wasn't gentle. It was a storm breaking, hands fumbling with buttons, shirts discarded in a tangle on the floor. Skin on skin, his heartbeat thundering against my chest. A Morse code of confusion and need. He moved like he was drowning, urgent and unpracticed, whispering my name like a prayer and a curse. "This doesn't change anything," he gasped between kisses. "But it did, God, it did." As we tangled in the sheets, the city outside fading to irrelevance, I tasted salt on his lips, not just sweat but tears, and in that moment, I fell. Hard. Irrevocably. Dawn crept in like a thief, gray light filtering through the blinds, painting stripes across his back as he slept beside me. I traced the curve of his spine with my eyes, memorizing the freckles like constellations, terrified that when he woke, it'd all shatter. He stirred, groaned, then bolted upright, sheets pooling at his waist. "Shit, Elijah, last night." His voice was gravel, eyes darting like a cornered animal. I reached for him, but he flinched, scrambling for his boxers. "This was a mistake. I was drunk. You're my bro." The word hit like a sucker punch. Bro. As if hours of whispered confessions and fevered touches could be erased with a label. I sat up, sheets clutched to my chest, the vulnerability twisting into something sharper. "A mistake? You pulled me in here, Lucas. You said." "I know what I said." He raked a hand through his hair, pacing the room like a caged lion. "But I'm not. I'm straight. Okay? This was just experimenting, like in college. It doesn't mean shit." His words landed like shrapnel, each one embedding deeper. Experimenting. As if I were a phase, a checkbox on his sexual curiosity list. I laughed, bitter and hollow, swinging my legs off the bed. "Right? Experiment over. Don't worry, your straight cred is intact." He grabbed my arm as I stood, his touch electric even now. "Eli, wait. I don't want this to fuck us up. We're good, you and me. Roommates. Friends." Friends. The demotion stung worse than rejection. I yanked free, grabbing my discarded shirt from the floor. "Yeah, Lucas. Friends." The door clicked shut behind me like a guillotine, and in the kitchen, I brewed coffee with shaking hands, the steam blurring my vision. Nothing stayed the same, all right, but as I stared at the skyline, the East River churning below like my gut, I wondered if anything had ever been the same at all. The days blurred into a tense standoff. He'd avoid my eyes at breakfast, mumble excuses about double shifts at the cafe, come home reeking of vanilla lattes and regret. I'd bury myself in work, pixels and vectors a safer canvas than the ache in my chest. But the apartment felt smaller, charged with ghosts of that night. The rumpled bed I now slept in alone, his cologne lingering on the couch like a taunt. Friends noticed. My buddy Marco from design class texted after a group hang, "You and Lucas beefing? Dude's been weird AF." I played it off, but inside it festered. Betrayal? Not yet. But the seed was planted, waiting for water. It sprouted 2 weeks later, at his buddy Ryan's holiday rager in Williamsburg. Lofts and fairy lights. A crush of 20-somethings chasing numbness in eggnog and EDM. Lucas dragged me along. "Come on, it'll be fun." His arms slung casual around my shoulders, like reclaiming territory. I went, masochist that I am, nursing a spiked cider while he held court, all laughs and backslaps. Then she appeared. Becca, leggy and luminous. a theater kid with a laugh like wind chimes. I'd seen her Insta, Lucas's latest swipe right success. She draped herself over him, whispering in his ear, and he lit up, the easy straight guy charm on full blast. Jealousy coiled in my gut, hot and irrational. I slipped out for air on the fire escape, the Brooklyn Bridge a distant sparkle, when the door creaked open. Lucas, alone, beer in hand. Hiding? He teased, but his eyes were soft, searching. We leaned on the railing, shoulders brushing, the old rhythm threatening to restart. Becca's great, he said, unprompted. Real. Normal. The word hung, a barb. Normal. As if what we'd shared was freakish, a detour from the highway of heterosexuality. Screw normal, I muttered, the alcohol loosening my tongue. You felt it too that night. Don't gaslight me. He stiffened, glancing back at the party like it might save him. Eli, drop it. I'm trying here. For us. For us. The ambiguity twisted the knife. I turned to him, close enough to feel his heat. Trying what? To pretend? Or to figure out if you liked it? His jaw clenched, and for a second, I thought he'd bridge the gap, kiss me right there under the stars. Instead, he drained his beer and walked away, leaving me with the cold and the echo of what-ifs. Christmas loomed, a forced cheer of tinsel and takeout Chinese. We decorated the tree in silence. A Charlie Brown special, half-assed and lopsided. Strings of lights flickering like our fragile peace. That night, as Bing Crosby crooned from his ancient record player, he cracked. We were tipsy on spiked hot chocolate, sprawled on the floor amid wrapping paper carnage. I Googled it, he admitted, voice barely above the vinyl scratch. After that night, bisexual, fluid, all that shit. My heart stuttered. Progress? Or pity? And, I prompted, afraid to breathe. He shrugged, eyes on the tree. Doesn't fit. I'm me. With you. It's different. Scary. Scary. The word lodged in my throat. I shifted closer, our knees touching. Scary's okay, as long as it's honest. His hand found mine, tentative, warm. We sat like that, fingers laced, the city humming below. No kisses, no beds, just connection, raw and tentative. For the first time since the pull, I breathed easy. But New Year's Eve shattered it. Becca invited him to her family's cabin upstate. Escape the city grind. And he went, posting stories of snowshoeing and champagne toasts. Her arm looped through his. I scrolled in the dark, alone with pizza crusts and regret. The likes from his bros, a chorus of approval. Straight Lucas back on track. When he returned, tan and glowing, he breezed in with a hug. Missed you, roomie. Like nothing. But I saw the strain, the way his eyes avoided mine. Then came the betrayal, swift and surgical. Ryan's party chat lit up my phone. A blurry pic, time-stamped midnight, Lucas and Becca mid-kiss under mistletoe. Caption, finally locking it down. Straight and narrow brothers before hoes. JK Eli, you're the real MVP. The group erupted, emojis. Cheers. Ryan's about time, Hargrove. Thought you were going soft on us. Soft. The implication slithered in, cold and knowing. They knew, or suspected. And Lucas, in his panic to prove them wrong, had thrown me under the bus without a word. I confronted him that night, phone thrust in his face as he unpacked souvenirs. What the hell is this? He glanced, paled. It's nothing. Just messing around. Messing around. Echoes of his post-bed excuses. They think I'm, what, your gay sidekick? That I'm why you're soft. My voice cracked, fury and hurt bleeding together. He deflated, sinking onto the couch. I didn't say that. Ryan's an idiot. But yeah, they joke. About us being too close. Too close, I echoed, pacing. You mean fucking. You mean the night you begged me not to stop. He flinched, but I was on a roll, words spilling like venom. You use me to feel alive, then parade Becca to feel safe. I'm done being your experiment, Lucas. Find a new roomie who fits your narrative. Eli, please. He stood, reaching, but I backed away. Tears burned, hot and unwelcome. Get out. Both of you, from my head, my heart, just go. The door slammed again, but this time, it was me leaving, coat thrown on, pounding the stairs to the street. Snow swirled, blanketing the brownstones in merciful white, but inside, I was storm-tossed. Betrayed, yes, but more heartbroken. For the man I loved, who loved me back in fragments, too scared to claim the whole. Winter gripped Astoria like a grudge, ice sheeting the sidewalks and frosting the fire escape where we'd once confessed dreams over stolen smokes. I crashed at Marco's for a week, a sublet in Jackson Heights that smelled of curry and cat litter, nursing wounds with bad Netflix and worse takeout. My phone stayed silent, Lucas's texts unread, talk to me, I'm sorry, a final, where are you, that I deleted without reply. Work dried up. Clients sensed my distraction, gigs evaporating like breath on glass. I sketched compulsively. Him, always him. Profile sharp against a subway window, hands buried in coat pockets, eyes haunted. Art as exorcism, but the demon clung. Marco staged an intervention over faux one rainy Tuesday. Babe, you're spiraling. He's straight-passing panic at best. Cut the cord. Straight-passing. The term stuck, a bitter pill. Was that all we'd been? A phase for him, a fantasy for me? I nodded, but doubt gnawed. That night in his bed hadn't felt like pretense. It felt like homecoming, his body yielding under mine, whispers of more against my neck. Lies? Or truths too big for his brittle world? I returned to the apartment on a whim, key turning in the lock like a confession. The place was a tomb. Mail piled on the counter, his scripts untouched on the coffee table, a half-empty growler sweating rings on the wood. Lucas was there, hunched over his laptop in the dim kitchen light, looking like he'd aged a decade, stubble shadowing his jaw, eyes ringed with fatigue. He startled, chair scraping back. Eli, thank God. His voice broke, raw as winter wind, and before I could steel myself, he was across the room, pulling me into a hug that crushed the air from my lungs. He smelled of unwashed sheets and despair, arms locking like he'd never let go. We stood there, swaying, my resolve crumbling under the weight of him. I fucked up, he murmured into my hair. Becca, it was rebound. Safe. But it's you, Eli. Always has been. The words I'd craved, delivered too late. I pulled back, searching his face. Hollow cheeks, desperation etched in every line. Then why the pick? Why let them think I'm the punchline? He winced, raking fingers through disheveled hair. Fear. Ryan's crew, they're my oldest friends. Grew up with them in Jersey, dodging their dad's homophobic rants. Coming out. It's not just me. It's losing that. The casual cruelty of it, the brotherhood built on exclusion. I sank onto the couch, head in hands. And me? What am I, Lucas? Collateral? He knelt before me, hands on my knees, eyes pleading. You're everything. That night, it woke me up. I've been dreaming about it, replaying it. Your hands, your mouth. Fuck. Eli, it's all I think about. Heat flooded me, traitorous and insistent, but anger held the line. Words are cheap. Show me. He did, in fragments. That week, we tiptoed toward normalcy. Shared meals where forks clinked like truces. Movie nights with a foot of space between us on the couch. His pinky brushing mine accidental on purpose. Becca faded. A polite text breakup, her stories shifting to solo brunches and empowerment quotes. His buddies texted less, the group chat a graveyard of unread memes. Isolation suited him, sharpened his edges. One night, snow blanketing the city in hush, he knocked on my door. Now, since I'd barricaded emotionally with a cheap lock from the hardware store. Can't sleep, he said, voice small. Can I? I let him in and we talked till dawn. His script, a coming-of-age tale about a kid grappling with identity in Reagan-era Jersey. My fears of fading into freelance obscurity. The what-ifs of us if we dared. No sex, just proximity. His head on my pillow, breaths sinking in the dark. It was intimate, deeper than flesh. Vulnerability laid bare, scars traded like baseball cards. I'm bi. he whispered at 3 a.m., the word heavy as an anchor. Or pan. Whatever. Point is, labels suck. But you're my truth. Truth. It bloomed tentative, a crocus through concrete. We kissed that morning, slow and exploratory, coffee breath and morning light. No rush, no storm. Just us, learning the map of each other anew. His hands trembled as they traced my ribs, reverent. Mine steadied him, guiding without demanding. We made love lazy, laughter bubbling when knees knocked, whispers of "I love you," slipping unbidden. Afterward, tangled in sunlight-dappled sheets, he traced my collarbone. "This okay? Us?" I nodded, throat tight. "More than." Spring teased early, melting the ice into puddles that reflected our tentative joy. Lucas rewrote his script, infusing it with shades of us, subtle, aching queerness woven into the kid's arc. I landed a gig designing album art for an indie queer folk band, their raw lyrics mirroring my heart's scrawl. We ventured out, hand-in-hand walks along the promenade, stealing kisses under the Queensboro Bridge, brunches where he outed himself to Marco over bottomless mimosas. "Yeah, I'm with Eli. Deal." Marco hooped, pulling us into a three-way hug that left me teary. Even Ryan called. Awkward voicemail. Heard from Hargrove. "If you're cool, beers soon." Progress inching. But conflict brewed, insidious as summer humidity. Lucas's big break landed mid-May. A short film contest in LA, his script greenlit for production. 2 weeks, he said, packing his duffel with that boyish grin. Schmooze the execs. Come back a star. I waved him off at JFK, kissing him fierce amid the terminal bustle. Knock 'em dead. Love you. Texts flew hourly. LAX is hell. Meta producer. Tipsy lunch. Heart emojis stacking like bricks. Then silence. A day, then two. Panic clawed. Had he bailed? Ghosted for Hollywood glamour? My calls went to voicemail, Insta stories blank. On day 4, Marco forwarded a link. A grainy pap-style pic from some industry blog, Lucas at a rooftop mixer, arm around a chiseled director type, Jensen Cole, 30s, openly gay, whispers of hookups trailing his IMDb like footnotes. Caption. Hargrove heats up Tinseltown with Cole? Bromance or more? Comments exploded. By curious alert. Roomy Elijah who? Betrayal round 2 sharper public. I confronted the mirror, eyes red-rimmed, whispering, "Fool." When he called that night, voice crackling over bad connection, I was ice. Saw the pic. Enjoying the upgrade. He sputtered, "Eli, it's nothing networking. Jensen's intense." But intense. The word ignited. Save it. You're free, Lucas. Go be straight in LA. Click. Blackout. He flew back early, pounding on the door at 2 a.m., jet-lagged and frantic. Let me in, damn it. I did, because weakness is my vice. He barreled in, dropping his bag, words tumbling. Jensen kissed me. Once. Drunk. I pushed him off. Told him about you. About you. Relegated again. But the pic. It looks bad. I know. Tears streaked his face. Uncharacteristic and gutting. I'm scared, Eli. Of losing you. Of this life. But I choose you. Every time. Choice. The crux. I pulled him down. Our fight dissolving into fury-fueled sex. Rough edges blunted by need. Bites and bruises mapping the hurt. Afterward, spent and sticky, he clung. Marry me? Not now, but someday? Hyperbole born of desperation, but it cracked my walls. Slow down, cowboy, I murmured, kissing his temple. One crisis at a time. Summer sweltered, testing us. Ryan's olive branch beers turned tense. His crew ribbing Lucas about going full rainbow. Half-jokes laced with unease. One night, after too many IPAs, Ryan cornered me in the bathroom. You turned him, Voss? Hargrove was normal before. Normal. The word again, a specter. I laughed, cold. He was always this. I just helped him see. Lucas overheard, later exploding in the car ride home. Fuck them. I don't need that toxicity. We drove in silence, hands clasped over the gearshift, solidarity forged in fire. Yet doubt lingered, a shadow at our heels. Lucas's film screened at a queer fest in Chelsea. Us in the back row, his hands slick with sweat in mine. Applause thundered. Q&A dissected the gay undertones. Him crediting my muse with a wink my way. Elation heady as champagne. But whispers followed. Industry scouts eyeing him solo. Fresh meat vibes that made my stomach knot. Was I anchor or anchorite? The climax crested Labor Day weekend. A block party in our neighborhood pulsing with bass and barbecue smoke. We'd invited everyone. Marco, Ryan's reformed crew, even Becca, who showed platonic and tipsy. Lucas was magnetic, grilling skewers with flair, stealing kisses that drew cheers and side eyes. As dusk fell, fireworks cracking over the river, he pulled me aside to the alley shadows. This is it, Eli. Real. His kiss was fireworks of its own. Deep, claiming the world fading to his taste. But fate's a cruel editor. Midway through, his phone buzzed. Offer from a streaming giant. Pilot script gig in LA. 6 months. Maybe more. The words hung, a guillotine blade. Joy warred with terror, his dream our nightmare. Come with me, he pleaded, eyes shining. Freelance anywhere. Tempting, but roots ran deep. My budding career, the city that birthed us. I can't uproot. Not yet. Fracture lines spiderwebbed. Invisible but inevitable. Autumn leaves turned, mirroring the shift. He prepped to leave, packing boxes a countdown. Our nights blurred. Passionate, poignant, laced with goodbye. We'll video every day, he'd promise, buried deep inside me. Voices hushed against the pillow. This isn't the end. But endings loomed, by-kitsch in the air. October painted Astoria in fire. Ginkgo leaves carpeting stoops like warnings, the air crisp with cider and change. Lucas's departure loomed like a storm front, suitcases lining the hall like tombstones. We clung to routines. Morning runs along Ditmars Boulevard, breaths puffing white. His hands stealing mine when no one watched. Evenings scripting together, my sketches illustrating his scenes, a collaborative heartbeat. But undercurrents pulled, his auditions via Zoom with LA agents, my inbox filling with remote design offers that tempted relocation. Just say yes, he'd murmur post-love, fingers tracing my hip bones. Be my co-star. I'd laugh it off, but the question festered. Was love enough to rewrite our scripts? The betrayal I'd braced for came sideways, from Becca of all people. A coffee for old times, she texted Lucas, and he went, transparent, he swore, closure thing. But closure cracked open secrets. She called me after, voice slurry with wine over the line. He told me everything, Elijah, the night, the doubts. Said he might have stayed straight for me. Stayed straight. The hypothetical gutted, a what-if weaponized. Why tell me? I demanded, pulse roaring. Because you're the villain in his story now. The one who ruined him for normal. Ruined. The echo chamber of rejection, amplified. I confronted him that night, her words venom in my veins. He walked in whistling, takeout bags swinging, pad thai, our comfort food. What's with the death glare? One bite in, I slid my phone across. Her text transcript, raw and unfiltered. His face drained, fork clattering. Eli, she's lying. Twisting it. I went to end things clean. Told her I'm all in with you. All in. But doubt whispered otherwise. Then why the pity party? Might have stayed straight? Sounds like regret. He slammed his fist on the table, rare fury flashing. Regret? For what? Loving you. Fuck that. She's hurt. Lashing out because I chose you over easy. Easy. The allure of heteronormativity. A siren's call. We argued till voices hoarsed. Me accusing entrapment. Him defending his fractured past. You think this is simple for me? He shouted, tears streaking. Every day. I fight the voices. Family, friends, the world. Saying I'm broken. But with you I'm whole. Whole. The plea pierced, deflating my rage into exhaustion. We made up in the shower, steam cloaking our apologies. Water cascading as hands roamed. Bodies colliding in forgiveness's fury. No more secrets, he gasped, back against tile, my name a mantra. Promise. Clean, but scarred, the wound suppurating slow. Halloween brought levity, a queer bar crawl in the village, costumes absurd. Him as a flannel-clad lumberjack twink, me his captured city boy in suspenders and a fake mustache. Laughter flowed freer than shots. Drag queens lip-syncing gaga as we danced, sweat slick and shameless. For hours the world aligned. His lips on my neck amid strobe lights, cheers from strangers who saw us as us. This is freedom, he yelled over the bass, spinning me till dizzy. Freedom, fleeting, but fierce. November elections cast shadows, the country fracturing along lines we knew too well. Lucas's Jersey family called post results. His dad, a union mechanic with Trump stickers on his truck, grumbling about libtards ruining everything. Lucas hung up pale, tossing the phone. He asked if I'm still playing house with that artist friend. Artist friend. Erasure in euphemism. I pulled him close, but he shrugged off. It's exhausting, Eli. Hiding from them. From me. Hiding. The crack widened. His flight was Thanksgiving week. Turkey a solo affair for me. Marco's invite declined, preferring solitude's sting. At the airport, dawn gray and unforgiving. We clung in the security line. Kisses salt-tinged with unshed tears. 6 months, he vowed, forehead to mine. Then we figure forever. I nodded, throat locked, watching his silhouette blur through glass. The apartment echoed empty, his side of the closet gaping like a wound. LA swallowed him. Texts evolving from miss you to crazy day, lunch with Spielberg's cousin. Pride swelled, but jealousy nipped. Photos of poolside script reads with diverse casts, all chiseled and charismatic. Jensen Cole resurfaced, a collab dinner posted innocently. Candlelit patio, wines decanted. Just work, his follow-up assured, but trust frayed. December holidays hit like a freight train. He flew home for Christmas, our reunion ablaze. Airport sprint into arms, cab ride home a frenzy of hands under coats. Missed this, he groaned, tumbling me onto the bed. The one that started it all. We burned through nights. Tree trimming turned foreplay, strings of lights tangled with limbs. Walks in Central Park, snow crunching under boots, mittened hands linked. His family dinner was a minefield. He dodged pronouns, me the roommate over ham and small talk. They're trying, he whispered later, guilt etching his brow. Trying. Barely. New Year's Eve. Rooftop party in Midtown. Fireworks bursting as we toasted under stars. Champagne fizzy with hope. To us, he said, clinking glasses, eyes locked like vows. But dawn brought the call. Pilot picked up. Full season. I have to stay, he said, voice small over FaceTime from his hotel. Stay. The word cleaved. How long? Months stretched to indefinite. His face pixelated with sorrow. Come out, please. The plea tugged, but inertia held. My life here, roots too deep to yank. January thawed the rift temporary. He visited monthly, whirlwind weekends of passion and plans. But distance distilled doubts. My sketches darkened, figures isolated. His calls shortened, set visits, excuses piling. Then, the gut punch. A leaked script page from his show. A steamy scene between leads mirroring us too closely raw, explicit, the straight character cracking under desire. Fans speculated online. Based on Hargrove's real-life gay roommate drama? Drama. Our life, fodder. I called voice steal. They know Lucas. About me. Us. He cursed. Background noise, a hum of production chaos. It's fiction, Eli. Art imitating life. Imitating. The blur of boundaries. But it outs me. Without consent. Silence stretched. Then, I'm sorry, but this is my career. Career. Priority 1. Hurt flared to fury. And I'm what? Inspiration credit. The line went dead. My scream echoing empty. He arrived unannounced 2 days later, pounding rain matching his urgency. I quit the scene, he blurted, dripping on the threshold. Rewrote it. For us. For us. The gesture mended. Threads rewoven. We fell into bed. Rain lashing windows like applause. Bodies reaffirming what words couldn't. You're my anchor. He breathed, spent and sincere. Anchor. But anchors sink ships too. Spring bloomed conflicted. Cherry blossoms in the botanic garden. Our hands clasped amid petals. But his lease in LA signed. A one-bedroom in Silver Lake. Temporary, he insisted, packing virtual. Zoom tours of sun-drenched spaces that mocked my gray winters. Marco warned. Long distance is a slow bleed. Bleed we did. Arguments over time zones. Jealousy over set friends. Silences heavier than calls. The climax detonated Memorial Day. Him in town for a festival screening. Post-premiere after-party. Glam crowd. Flashbulbs popping. We slipped away to a quiet bar, basking in acclaim. This is it, he said, toasting with bourbon. Our breakthrough. But as we walked home, arm in arm, his phone lit. Text from Jensen. Late night drink? Celebrate your win. Innocent. Or spark. I snatched it, reading aloud, voice venomous. Your win. Not ours. He flushed, grabbing back. It's nothing, old colleague. Colleague. The lie reeked. Like the kiss? The networking. Paranoia peaked, years insecurities erupting. You're using me as your buy badge. Proof you're evolved. While chasing real prizes. He recoiled, hurt flashing to anger. Real prizes? You're the prize. Idiot. Why do you think I fight for this? Fight. I laughed, hysterical. You run. To LA, to easy outs. The alley spun, voices rising till neighbors peaked. He grabbed my shoulders. Shaking. I love you, Elijah. But this us, it's killing me. The hiding, the distance. Killing. The word hung, a death knell. I shoved him off, storming inside. Door barricade once more. He didn't leave that night. Slept on the couch, sobs muffled through walls. Dawn, he was gone. Note on the counter. Need space to breathe. Not goodbye. Love, L. Space. The void yawned, swallowing days into weeks. No calls, just radio silence. I wandered the apartment, his ghost in every corner. Cologne on a forgotten shirt. Script pages dog-eared on the table. Marco dragged me to therapy, a queer counselor in Midtown, sessions unpacking abandonment wounds from my Bible Belt youth. He's scared, she said. But so are you. Decide if love's worth the terror. Summer scorched, heat waves mirroring inner blaze. His show premiered to buzz. Critics praising the nuanced queer arc. Unaware it was us. Distilled. I watched alone. Tears tracking as the characters mirrored our arc. Pull into passion. Push to denial. Pull again. Credits rolled, his name bold, and pride warred with ache. Text him. Block. The limbo stretched. Then, fractures echo. Ryan called, voice subdued. Hargrove's a mess. Crashed on my couch after a blowout with Jensen. Real this time. Real. The confirmation crushed, but clarity followed. Betrayal's anatomy. Not the act, but the pattern running when raw. I flew to LA on a whim, credit card maxed, heart armored. Silver Lake hummed palm-fringed. His building a trendy walk-up with succulents flanking the door. Ryan buzzed me up. Lucas answered shirtless, eyes bloodshot. Apartment a war zone of takeout boxes and crumpled pages. Eli, disbelief then collapse, arms crushing, sobs racking. I fucked up. Again. Jensen was. Escape. From missing you. Escape. The truth. Unvarnished. I held him, the man I'd built altars to, now frail in my arms. Why? Simple, shattering. He pulled back, eyes searching. Fear. Of forever. Of failing you like I fail everyone. Fail. The core wound. Paternal echoes. We talked till sunset bled orange through blinds. His imposter syndrome, my trust fractures, the love that endured despite. No more running, I said, hand cupping his jaw. Together or not at all. He nodded, tears fresh. Together. That night we reclaimed slow, sacred bodies mapping forgiveness. Dawn found us entwined, City sprawling below like possibility. Fall semester vibes clung to LA even in September's heat. College kids thronging Westwood. Lucas's show renewed for season 2, his star ascending. We rebuilt deliberate. Me subletting a studio nearby, freelance blooming in the sun-soaked creative scene. Him carving space and scripts for Eli, a composite muse who grounded the chaos. Dates dotted the calendar. Hikes in Griffith Park, trails winding to overlooks where the Hollywood sign loomed ironic. Taco trucks in Boyle Heights, spice burning tongues as laughter bridged gaps. Sex evolved too, less frantic, more attuned. Mornings lazy with coffee and caresses. His head pillowed on my chest as we scrolled casting calls. But America's underbelly simmered. Queerness a fragile bloom in hostile soil. Protests flared post a Supreme Court whisper of rights rollback. Rainbow flags waving defiant in WeHo. Lucas and I marching arm in arm. Signs reading love wins? Fight for it. His family fractured further. Mom a quiet ally via texts. Dad silent since the artist friend Barb. Give him time. Lucas sighed over dinner. Chopsticks poised midair. Time. The luxury we craved. Conflict-crested Thanksgiving, his pilot light for Jersey. Come, he begged. Show them the man I love. The man. Out loud. Unprompted. Heart swelled, but nerves knotted. Blue-collar enclave. Football Sundays and pickup trucks. My effete artist vibe and neon target. I went, suitcase packed with armor. Button-downs, no piercings. His childhood home squatted modest in Edison. Siding faded. Driveway hosting his brother's lifted F-150. Greetings stiff, hugs from mom. Wary nods from dad. Niece tugging my sleeve with innocent curiosity. Uncle Luke says you're an artist like him. Dinner was a tightrope. Turkey carved with precision. Small talk skating politics. Cities changed, huh? Dad grunted, eyes flicking to me. Lucas squeezed my knee under the table, anchor steady. Then, pie served, he detonated. Eli and I are together. For real. Love him. Silence blanketed. Forks hovering. Mom teared up, squeezing my hand. Happy for you boys? Dad? Stone. That's so. The dismissal chilled. But Lucas pressed. Yeah, Dad. It's who I am. Eyes met. Generational chasm yawning. Proud of you, son. Dad muttered finally, voice gruff. Just be careful out there. Careful. The subtext, world's teeth. Drive back to the city. Him white-knuckled on the wheel, me thawing the frost. It was huge, I said, hand on his thigh. He tried. The bare minimum but milestone. Christmas followed softer. Our first as couple. Tree in my studio strung with ornaments from thrift dives. Dragons for his fire, pencils for my lines. Gifts intimate. He scripted a short about us, bound leather. I inked a portrait, his face fierce with love. Midnight mass skipped for bed, bodies worshipping in candle flicker. New Year dawned ambitious. Joint pitch meeting, my designs wetting his storyboards for a queer rom-com spec. Execs in Century City nodded. Fresh voices. Diverse. The golden ticket, laced with tokenism. We celebrated at the Abbey, WeHo pulsing neon. Dancing till sweat slick. His hips grinding mine to pulsing beats. Strangers cheering our abandon. This is ours, he yelled. Kiss salt and synth. Ours. The dream solidified. Yet betrayal's ghost lingered, manifesting in micro. A co-star's flirt, playful on set but stinging via tabloid tease. Hargrove's leading man sparks off-screen chemistry? Lucas laughed it off, but insecurity flared. Trust me. He'd soothe, nights reaffirming with tongue and touch. Trust, earned daily but fragile as rice paper. Spring unfurled verdant, co-writing sessions in Runyon Canyon. Picnics of In-N-Out and laptops. Coyotes yipping as sunset gilds the sprawl. His show wrapped filming, wrap party a blur of toasts and temptations. Jensen there, cordial handshake masking history. Water under, he murmured to me later, arm possessive around Lucas. Water under. Drowned, hopefully. Climax brewed subtle, erupting June pride. LA's parade a riot of color. floats thumping bass as we marched with his cast, signs blazing stories save lives. Elation peaked atop a convertible, Lucas waving rainbow flag, my heart bursting. But post-parade brunch, phone buzzed, Dad's number. Lucas paled answering, heart attack, stable but, come home, home. Jersey called, crisis unyielding. Flight delayed by storms, we landed frayed. Rental car screaming up the turnpike, silence heavy. Hospital hummed sterile, mom pacing ER wait, eyes red. Mild, docs say, stress, stress. The word indicted, our lifestyle. Unspoken. Dad lay pale in bed, tubes snaking, spotting us with watery eyes. Boys. Neutral, thawing. Lucas gripped the rail, voice cracking. Scared me, old man. Dad nodded, gaze shifting to me. You too, Eli. Family sticks. Family. Inclusion's grace. Unearned but embraced. Vigil nights blurred. Cafeteria coffee bitter as fear. Lucas dozing head on my shoulder. His hand in mine a lifeline. Dawn day 3. Dad rallied. Private talk with Lucas. Heard about the show. Watched an EP. That kid. Reminds me of you. Confused. But brave. Brave. Absolution's whisper. We left lighter. Burgers roadside. Ketchup smears like war paint. Summer solstice marked pivot. Dad's recovery slow. Lucas shuttling coasts. Me holding LA fort. Distance tested anew. But stronger, daily videos, vulnerability unchecked. Miss your sketches, he'd say, screen kissing. Sketches flowed. Us as heroes, capes billowing over canyons. Betrayal's final twist came August. Script leak redux. This time malicious. Pages twisted with homophobic slurs penciled in margins. Leaked to conservative rags. Hargrove's woke agenda exposed, anti-family filth. Backlash erupted. Trolls doxing. Death threats pinging his inbox. Network waffling support. Lucas shattered. Hold in the apartment. Scripts shredded. Bourbon his companion. They hate me, he sobbed, curled fetal. For loving you. For being me. Hate. The specter we danced around. I held him through nights fevered with rage. Days fielding calls from allies. Marco flying in. Ryan's crew GoFundMe for legal. Fight? I urged. Tracing his knuckles bruised from punching walls. This is the story now, resilience. He nodded. Fire rekindling. But cracks lingered. Cancelled appearances. Sleep fractured by paranoia. Labor Day barbecue at Ryan's, neutral ground. Jersey exiles grilling in a backyard oasis. Dad even zoomed in. Toast slurred but sincere. To the fighters. Laughter flowed. Tentative then torrent. Stories swapped. Beers clinking like healing. Lucas pulled me aside at dusk. Fireflies winking. Couldn't do this without you. Without. The tether. Autumn whispered change. His show renewed despite storm. Episodes reframed triumphant. We co-authored an op-ed. Queer joy in the crosshairs. Vox scoop. Responses flooding supportive. Momentum built. Podcast invites. Ally marches. Our voices amplified. But humanism's core tested November. Elections again. Tides turning tolerant. Tentative hope. Lucas's family dinner. Dad carving turkey. Eyes on us warm. Past the gravy, son-in-law? Joke tentative but landing. Son-in-law. Future sketched. December solstice, Griffith Observatory. Stars wheeling overhead. City a constellation below. He knelt. Ring simple, silver band etched with our initials. Marry me, Elijah. Not despite the chaos, because of it. Chaos. Our constant. Tears blurred, yes tumbling free. Yes. Forever. Wedding whispers wove winter. Small. Queer-centric. Vegas chapel kitsch or Brooklyn loft intimate. Plans danced with holidays, his show hiatus a gift. January thawed into vows unspoken yet. Venue hunts via Zoom. Marco as best man shoe-in. Ryan's crew tucks fittings a brofest laced with toasts to the gays who stuck it out. Lucas's star crested. Emmy buzz for his arc. Red carpets where he clutched my hand. Whispering you ground me. Amid flashbulbs. Ground. Metaphor apt. LA's sprawl could swallow souls. But we rooted deep. Community garden plots in Echo Park, tomatoes ripening beside basil, metaphors for growth. Spring equinox brought ceremony. Brooklyn loft, exposed brick and fairy lights, 50 souls. His Jersey clan tentative but present, Dad's arm around Mom as they watched. Vows raw, him voice steady. You pulled me from straight lines into curves, messy, beautiful. I choose the bend every day. Me, throat tight. You taught me love's not experiment, it's evolution. Together we rewrite the endings. Rings exchanged, kiss sealing, cheers erupting, cake smashed with glee. Honeymoon micro. Amtrak to Big Sur, coastal rails hugging cliffs, waves crashing like applause. Days blurred, hikes to hidden coves, bonfires crackling tales. Nights urgent, bodies mapping honeymoon glow. This is the after, he murmured, sand gritting skin, stars in different witnesses. After. The humanistic horizon, no tidy bow, but continuum. Back to bustle. His season 3 greenlit, my design firm budding, queer-owned, clients flocking for authentic voices. Conflicts ebbed minor. Tabloid whispers quelled by joint instas. Family dinners where Dad grilled veggies for health. Jokes landing softer. Betrayal scar faded. Tissue toughened. Climaxes echo rippled summer. Script crisis. Network exec demanding, straighten the leads. Test audiences balked. Lucas stormed home, slamming doors. They want to erase us. Erase. The threat perennial. We rallied, petition to fans, viral thread detailing the fight. Support surging. Showrunner back down. Episode aired unbowed. Ratings soaring. Victory Pyrrhic but potent. Our story won, he said. Champagne popping. Bodies celebrating in triumph's tangle. Autumn harvested peace. Harvest moon walks. Leaves crunching confessions light. Dad's visit. First to Ella. Awkward hugs at LAX melting to tears over Dodgers dogs. Proud, son. Of both. Both. Wholeness. Winter solstice circled. Anniversary first. Fire escape redux. Astoria roots calling temporary. We visited. Snow dusting rails. Smokes shared symbolic. Full circle, I said, his head on my shoulder. Circle. No end, just return. Years layered. His Oscar nod for adapted screenplay. Our film, queer epic, box office darling. My gallery show, portraits of us through seasons, critics hailing, tender humanism. Kids, surrogacy whispers, donor debates, future sketched open. Conflicts came. Fame's glare, creative droughts, but weathered, stronger. One night, decade in, hotel suite overlooking Hudson. Anniversary escape, city eternal. He pulled me to bed, echo of origin, hand firm. Nothing stayed the same. I smiled, tracing his laugh lines. Good. Same was safe. This is alive. Alive. The arc. From Hook's storm to humanism's harbor. Love not conquest, but companionship, flawed and fierce. In the quiet, as breaths synced, I knew. Betrayals sting, conflicts forge, climaxes blaze. All alchemized to this. Enduring. American as apple pie with a twist sweet, tart, holy hours.